Hello everyone, this is Mr. Brain Junkie here, and today we're going to be talking about The Invitation. The story starts with our main character Will, who I almost mistaken for the guy in Venom, and his girlfriend Kira. They're going to this dinner party of some sort from Will's ex-wife who disappeared about 2 years ago. First of all, I would very much hesitate to go to a party which my ex-wife hosted, and secondly, I would never bring my current girlfriend along. You know the conversation between them can never be good for you. Anyways, we find out that his ex-wife is already with someone, and they met in some sort of grief counseling group. Before you know it, boom! They hit something with their car. It turned out to be a coyote, and being a good person, Will decided to put the animal out of its misery. But come on, man. Did you have to use a car iron? I mean, he whacked the poor thing a couple times, but what if it's still not dead? But anyways, that's not the main point. This scene is very important, and we will come back to it at the end, as it's pretty much a metaphor for this entire movie. The couple arrives at this gigantic house which Will used to live in. They meet their old friends, the Asian lady, Miss Uptight, Mr. Chubby, and the two guys that dress like Mario and Luigi. We find out that the Asian lady's boyfriend did not arrive, even though everyone else is here. On top of that, there is conveniently very poor signal. Just another element we need for everyone to not survive if something goes wrong. Then the ex-wife comes in dressed like Galadriel from Lord of the Rings. Let's just say that their meeting was beyond awkward. And things get even worse when Dario from Game of Thrones turns out to be the ex-wife's new squeeze. I have to say, I'm not surprised at all. Mr. Tom Hardy then gazes to the side and sees this woman staring at him from the master's bedroom. She turns around and the light shines on her legs. Yep, that's right guys. She's not wearing any pants. At this point, I would think either I'm hallucinating or something really wrong is going on. What's even more shocking is that this crazy girl turned out to be real and hopped on over and gave Mr. Game of Thrones a passionate kiss right in front of the ex-wife. On top of all that, the ex-wife did not seem to mind it at all. This is when my cult radar lit up. Are those three in some sort of swinger cult that allows sex between all members, but demands some sort of sacrifice that makes it very tempting, but not worth joining? Like ever. The ex-wife seems emotionally stable, but I had a feeling that underneath, she's in great turmoil. A flashback shows us that Mr. Venom struggled greatly with the ex-wife in their previous marriage for reasons we still don't know. Back into the kitchen, the ex-wife tries to reconcile with the husband and is interrupted by Mr. Chubby. This is when we see her true nature since she slapped the poor dude right across the face just because he made an innocent joke about her views. Throughout the film, we see the husband struggle to function because of this unspecified traumatic event, and I suspect that the ex-wife is going through the same thing, only she is hiding it whereas the husband shows it up front. Their different choices of dealing with grief is apparent, which may explain why they separated in the first place. While the husband is having a chat with the uptight lady, he sees another stranger enter the house who looks like Bellic from Prison Break. Right away, my inner alarm is screaming as I do not for a second of my life trust that psychopathic looking dude with the bald head. I would also be wondering why there's so many strangers in this supposed reunion between old friends. The husband also noticed that Mr. Game of Thrones locks the door right after Mr. Prison Break enters the house, which he shrugs off as just a precaution because of the recent robbery around the area. As the night progresses, the husband sees some weird things, such as the ex-wife hiding what appears to be sedatives in her drawer. I guess we all know now what her secret is to emotional well-being. We're given more and more flashbacks of the husband's previous marriage, and the fact that they apparently had a son. My guess is that somehow the son died, which triggered their mental breakdown. The group is then gathered around to what I can only say is a sales pitch for joining a cult. Mr. Game of Thrones shows everyone a video of this Heaven's Gate looking dude giving blessing to this woman as she dies, treating death as if it's a good thing. They then play this game where everyone takes turns to express what they want. The twist here is that Mr. Game of Thrones actually encourages those desires to be fulfilled, such as giving the Asian lady Coke and allowing the ex-wife to passionately kiss Mr. Chubby while everyone watches. The craziest thing is that Mr. Hairless Psychopath here actually tells everyone how psychopathic he really is, as he killed his wife in a state of rage 7 years ago. All this has made the uptight lady too uncomfortable, and she decided to leave. Unfortunately, her car is blocked by the wife killer, and they went off together as the husband watches suspiciously. Mr. Prison Break stops her just before she drives off, but what happened between them can only be left to interpretation for now. The husband wanders around again, and this time finds the crazy girl by herself making faces you can only find in The Exorcist. She notices him and tries to seduce him aggressively by the pool. Fortunately, the husband is wise enough to know not to dip his fries in crazy sauce and refuses. Our main character then receives a message from the Asian lady's boyfriend, stating that he was actually here earlier. However, we never saw him at all, which seems to confirm with the husband's suspicion that something sinister is going on here. He rashly charges into the house and shouts at the host and demands an explanation for the Asian guy's disappearance. Everyone's emotions escalates to a breaking point, and then the Asian guy suddenly appears. Apparently, he went back to work after arriving early. Our main character is super confused at this point, as he himself begins to doubt his own judgment. He experiences a mental breakdown and goes into his son's room. It is confirmed here by flashbacks that his son indeed died due to an accident. He decides to go to the group and make amends before he saw the ex-wife's boyfriend light a ghostly looking lantern in the backyard. He also discovers another video of the cult leader. This reassures his prior suspicions once again, and he rejoins the group, which now is celebrating their reunion via a toast of wine. He smashes their wine glasses before anyone except the Asian lady can drink it. The crazy girl goes really crazy this time and attacks the husband, saying that he has ruined it. He pushes her, which then leads to her falling on her head. They discover that the Asian lady was indeed poisoned, as she now lays dead with white foam coming out of her mouth. Mr. Mario rushes over and tries to help her, but is promptly shot by Dario from Game of Thrones. All hell breaks loose when the wife killer gets the gun from the host and just starts massacring everyone like in Grand Theft Auto. The survivors ran but could not escape, as all doors were locked and all windows were barred from the outside. As the wife killer stalks them, Kira managed to get the upper hand and smashed his skulls in like she was Negan from The Walking Dead. The ex-wife picks up the gun and shoots her protagonist, but misses any vital organs. She feels extremely guilty of what she has become, and then proceeds to shoot herself fatally in the stomach. Mr. Game of Thrones tries to go after the couple, but is stopped and fatally wounded by good old Luigi. Mr. Tom Hardy laments and brings the ex-wife out of the house with the help of his girlfriend. The ex-wife dies in the backyard while saying that she misses their son very much. Mr. Luigi survived this ordeal with the couple, and the three embraces to comfort each other. They look into the hillside and realizes that every single house has a lantern exactly like the one they have, and police sirens can be heard everywhere. It is clear at this point that this was a mass cult suicide, and they're not out of the woods yet, as there are likely more cult members killing their friends. This movie ultimately is about how to deal with grief and loss. The husband chooses to face reality, whereas the wife chooses denial and essentially death. She believed that ending suffering is more important than enduring it. Just like how the husband ended the life of the coyote in the beginning of the film due to mercy, the same mindset can be said to the cult, as they ended everyone's life because they believe it is the right thing to do. So what do you guys think about this film? Please leave it in the comments below. And if you like my videos, please press like and subscribe for more. I'll see you guys next time.